It was one of those quiet suburban streets in a mid-sized town in California, where everyone knew each other's business just a little too well. You know the type: manicured lawns, white picket fences, and the occasional neighborhood barbecue that masked the simmering tensions underneath. My name's Alex, and I'd lived there for about 5 years, ever since I moved in after a messy divorce. The house was a fixer-upper, but it had a nice driveway and enough space for my pride and joy, a sleek black Tesla Model 3. That car wasn't just transportation. It was my ticket to a greener future, loaded with all the bells and whistles, including that infamous Sentry mode dashcam that could turn it into a vigilant watchdog. Now, let me tell you about my neighbor, Karen. Yeah, that's her real name. And she fit the stereotype to its mid-50s, always impeccably dressed in yoga pants and a cardigan, with a bob haircut that screamed, "I need to speak to your manager." She lived right next door with her husband, Bob, who was this quiet guy that mostly tinkered in his garage and avoided eye contact. Karen, though, she was the self-appointed queen of the block. It started small, like the time she complained about my recycling bins being an eyesore because they weren't perfectly aligned. Then it escalated to notes left on my door about how my dog's barking was disturbing her afternoon naps. Mind you, I don't even own a dog. I think she mistook the neighbor's pup on the other side for mine. Over the months, things got weirder. She'd glare at me from her kitchen window every time I pulled into the driveway, especially after I installed solar panels on my roof. Karen was old school. She drove a gas-guzzling SUV and once ranted at a block party about how electric cars were ruining the planet with their batteries. I tried to be civil, waving hello or offering to help with her groceries, but she'd just huff and turn away. Bob would sometimes apologize on her behalf, mumbling something about her having a bad day. But I could sense the resentment building. It wasn't just about the car or the panels. It felt personal, like she saw me as some tech-obsessed millennial invading her perfect little world. I'm in my 40s, by the way, but to her, anyone under 60 was probably a kid. One evening last summer, things took a turn. I'd been working late at my job as a software engineer, debugging code until my eyes blurred. I got home around 10 p.m., parked the Tesla in the driveway as usual, and headed inside for a beer and some Netflix. The neighborhood was dead silent, the kind of quiet that makes you appreciate suburbia. Little did I know, Karen was stewing next door. From what I pieced together later, she'd had a rough day. Her SUV wouldn't start, and she blamed it on all these electric vehicles hogging the grid. Irrational? Totally. But that's Karen for you. Around midnight, while I was dozing off on the couch, my phone buzzed with a notification from the Tesla app. Sentry mode alert. Motion detected. I groaned, figuring it was a raccoon or a stray cat again. Those alerts came semi-frequently, but most were false alarms. I swiped it away and went to bed, promising myself I'd check the footage in the morning. If only I'd looked right then, I might have caught her in the act live. The next day started like any other. Coffee in hand, I scrolled through my phone while the sun filtered through the blinds. That's when I remembered the alert. I opened the Tesla app, tapped on the dashcam recordings, and there it was, a crystal clear video from the front camera, timestamped 12:15 a.m. At first, it showed nothing but the empty driveway under the streetlight's glow. Then, a figure emerged from the shadows between our houses. It was Karen, no doubt about it. She was wearing her usual cardigan over pajamas, sneakers on her feet, and she looked furtive, glancing around like a bad spy in a movie. My heart started pounding as I watched. She crept up to the Tesla, her face illuminated by the car's headlights that automatically flashed on in Sentry mode, a feature designed to deter intruders. But Karen didn't flinch. She pulled something from her pocket, a key, I think, and leaned in close to the driver's side door. The camera caught it all, her arm drawing back, then scraping along the paint with a deliberate, vicious motion. Scratch, scratch, scratch. The sound wasn't audible in the footage, but I could imagine the metallic screech. She wasn't content with one line. She went for a second, carving what looked like a crude word "fake" into the door panel. Fake? Fake what? My eco-friendly lifestyle? The car itself? It didn't make sense, but rage boiled up in me anyway. Then, as if that wasn't enough, she moved to the tires. She knelt down, fumbling with something else, a small knife or tool, and jabbed at the sidewall of the front tire. The Tesla's alarm blared suddenly, lights flashing wildly, and that's when Karen panicked. She jumped back, dropping whatever she was holding, and bolted toward her house. The footage ended there, but the damage was done. I paused the video, zoomed in, and sure enough, her face was unmistakable, those sharp features, the bob haircut, even the necklace she always wore with a cross pendant. I sat there, stunned, replaying it over and over. How could she? We'd never had a full-blown fight, just passive-aggressive snipes. But this was criminal. Vandalism, plain and simple. My mind raced with questions. Was this her first time? Had she been sneaking around before? And why the Tesla specifically? It hit me then the car wasn't just a vehicle. It was a symbol. To her, it represented everything she hated: change, technology, maybe even the younger generation pushing for a different world. Or perhaps it was jealousy. Her SUV was always breaking down, while my Tesla hummed quietly and charged overnight. I felt a mix of anger and betrayal. This wasn't some random act. It was targeted, personal. I inspected the car outside, and yeah, the scratches were there, deep enough to need a professional repaint. The tire had a puncture, slowly deflating. Repair costs? Easily a couple $1,000. But money wasn't the point. It was the violation, the breach of that unspoken neighborly trust. I debated calling the police right then, but something held me back. I wanted to confront her first, see her squirm when faced with the evidence. Maybe she'd apologize, offer to pay, and we could put it behind us. Or maybe not. Deep down, I knew Karen wasn't the type to back down easily. The rest of the morning dragged on. I worked from home that day, but concentration was impossible. Every creak from next door made me jump. Around noon, I heard her voice outside, chatting with another neighbor about the weather. So casual, like nothing happened. That fueled my resolve. I copied the footage to my laptop, enhanced it a bit with some free software to make her face even clearer, and planned my move. Should I knock on her door? Ambush her in the driveway? Or go public, post it on the neighborhood Facebook group? That last one tempted me to expose her to everyone. Let the court of public opinion decide. But that felt too nuclear, at least for starters. By evening, I couldn't wait anymore. The sun was dipping low, casting long shadows across the lawns. I grabbed my phone with the video queued up and marched over to her house. My heart hammered in my chest, palms sweaty. What if she denied it? What if Bob got involved? I rang the doorbell, and after a moment, Karen answered, her face a mask of forced politeness. "Alex, what can I do for you?" she said, her tone dripping with that fake sweetness she reserved for strangers. "We need to talk," I replied, keeping my voice steady. "About last night." Her eyes narrowed slightly, but she played dumb. "Last night? I don't know what you mean. Bob and I were in bed by 10. I pulled out my phone. "Really?" "Because my car's dashcam says otherwise." Before she could respond, I hit play and held it up. The footage rolled, her sneaking up, the scratches, the jab at the tire, the alarm sending her scampering. Karen's face drained of color as she watched. For a split second, I saw fear, then it hardened into defiance. "That's not me," she blurted out, but her voice wavered. "It could be anyone. The lighting's bad." "Oh, come on, Karen. It's clearly you. The necklace, the haircut, everything matches. You scratched fake into my door and punctured my tire. Why? What did I ever do to you?" She crossed her arms, glancing around to see if anyone was watching. "If that's mean, I'm not saying it is. Maybe it's because your stupid electric car is an eyesore. Always beeping and flashing lights at night. It disturbs the peace. And those solar panels? They're ugly, blocking my view. This neighborhood was fine before people like you moved in with your gadgets." I stared at her, incredulous. "So that's your excuse? Vandalism because you don't like change? That's illegal, Karen. I could call the cops right now." "Go ahead," she snapped, her voice rising. "But good luck proving it. Dashcams. That's invasion of privacy. You're spying on everyone. What gives you the right to record my property?" "Your property? You were on my driveway, damaging my car. And Sentry mode only activates on motion. It's for security, not spying." Bob appeared in the doorway then, looking bewildered. "What's going on here?" Karen turned to him, eyes blazing. This tech freak is accusing me of scratching his precious toy car. With some video he probably faked. Faked? I laughed bitterly. "It's time-stamped, straight from the car. Here, watch it yourself, Bob." I replayed it for him. Bob's face went from confused to shocked. He rubbed his forehead. "Karen, is that you?" What were you thinking? She whirled on him. Don't you start. He's the one ruining the neighborhood. Electric cars exploding, batteries poisoning the earth. I've read about it online. And now he's got cameras everywhere, watching us like Big Brother. The argument escalated from there. Karen ranted about how technology was destroying society, how people like me were entitled snowflakes hiding behind gadgets. I fired back, pointing out her hypocrisy driving a polluting SUV while complaining about the environment. Bob tried to mediate, but it was hopeless. Neighbors started peeking out their windows, drawn by the yelling. One even came over, asking if everything was okay. In the heat of it, Karen lunged for my phone, trying to grab it. Give me that. You can't just record people without permission. I yanked it back. Touch me or my stuff again, and I'll add assault to the charges. She backed off, breathing heavily. You'll regret this, Alex. I'll sue you for defamation for invading my privacy. That footage is illegal. Bob pulled her inside, apologizing profusely. I'm sorry, Alex. We'll sort this out. I stormed back home, adrenaline pumping. That confrontation was intense, way more than I'd anticipated. Part of me felt victorious. She'd been caught red-handed, but another part worried. Was she right about privacy? Dashcams are common now, but recording neighbors without consent could be a gray area. I researched it quickly online. In California, it's legal as long as it's on your property and not audio only in private spaces. Still, her threats lingered. The next day, I filed a police report. The officer came by, watched the footage, and nodded. Clear case of vandalism. We'll talk to her. They did, and Karen denied everything at first, but when shown the video, she cracked. She admitted it, claiming it was a moment of frustration. No arrest, but she got a citation and had to pay for repairs about $2,500 in the end. Bob handled the check, looking embarrassed. But that wasn't the end. Word spread like wildfire. The neighborhood Facebook group blew up with posts. Did you hear about Karen and Alex's fight? Some sided with me, praising the Tesla's tech for catching a criminal. Others defended Karen, saying modern surveillance was creepy and that I should have talked to her first instead of spying. One post even called me a tech tyrant, arguing that electric cars were overrated and Karen was just voicing what everyone thought. It sparked debates everywhere. Online forums. Even local news picked it up as a neighbor feud gone viral after someone anonymously shared the footage. Not me, I swear. People argued about privacy versus security. Is it okay to have always-on cameras? What about the environmental impact? Karen's rants about batteries weren't entirely baseless, with mining controversies. And the class angle, me with my fancy Tesla versus her struggling with an old SUV. It got political too, conservatives calling it liberal overreach, progressives hailing tech as a protector. Months later, things simmered down. Karen and Bob put their house up for sale, moving to a quieter area. We nodded politely if we crossed paths, but the trust was shattered. My Tesla? Still parked proudly, Sentry mode on. It taught me that technology isn't just convenient. It's a shield in a world full of hidden resentments. Looking back, that night changed everything. A simple dashcam exposed not just an act of vandalism, but deeper divides in our society about progress, privacy, and what it means to be a good neighbor. It makes you think, doesn't it? What do you think? Was Karen justified in her frustration with modern tech, or was she just a bitter vandal? Should dashcams like Sentry mode be regulated to protect privacy, even if it means less security? Have you ever had a neighbor dispute that escalated like this, and how did you handle it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your side. If this story got your blood pumping, hit that like button, subscribe for more real-life dramas, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Who knows, your story might be featured next.